you're out there, you're riding, you're having a good time, and taking in the outdoors.
The fight isn't over. The fight is just beginning.
What's going on, guys? This is Carl with the RacerRed channel. Right now I'm on Mill Creek Road up by Council, Idaho. I took the highway all the way here and the fun begins. We're heading towards the mountains and getting up into the higher elevations. Felt like I was riding into the sun the entire way here. Pretty hot out. But I stopped and got some electrolytes and I'm heading into the mountains. I'll take this over 20 degrees any day. Get to see a lot of old barns, buildings. Council, Idaho is a pretty town. The first taste of dirt on this trip. Been riding for about an hour and a half, I would say. And it's all been highway. Good change of pace to be on the dirt. Payette National Forest. Number 220. Huh. Private property. Interesting. Well, that was quite the adventure, guys. I guess I'll go home. Either that or I'll find another way. Which will it be? Tune in. That does say non-motorized. Yep. That's a bunch of crap. Non-motorized. Bunch of commies. I'm further into the mountains. I've seen a lot of butterflies and beautiful birds and bodacious bees and billy goats and bears. Alright, I haven't seen most of that stuff. I did see some birds though. It's pretty cool ones. I guess you could say things are getting pretty serious. Jeez, Napoleon. You guys are just jealous because I've been watching online videos and pictures of mountains all day. I love Kip from Napoleon Dynamite. I've been watching the Napoleon Dynamite cartoon. So funny. They did such a good job on the characters in that cartoon. I love Kip when he's like, geez. He's like running from something really serious in the movie at one point, like a tiger or something like that. And as he's running out of his house, there's a gigantic tiger behind him. He's just yelling that. He's like, geez. Entering burned area. Whoa. I guess you could say things are getting pretty serious. Alright guys, see if I can hold on to the bars well enough. Welcome to Nartown. It's gonna be a rocky ride. The goal here is to make it to, I think it's called No Business Lookout. But I wanted to take an alternate route to hit this single track. I do see some tracks on it, so it might actually be clear. So that's a good sign. I've had no issues with this bike since I did that little modification to it, the throttle body. Definitely has been nicer to ride. All I had to do is shave a little material off and voila, this thing has been good. No four-wheelers allowed. Guess we'll see what happens here. You guys know how I like to swim in the creeks. just drowning my bikes. You got to make sure they're durable. Oh yeah, this Singletrack is looking good. It's so cool up here. Perfect conditions. Whew. Modulating that clutch a little bit. I'm trying to, it's harder than you guys think right now with my thumb. If I have full grip on my handlebar and I'm not using the clutch, I'm pretty good. I can actually pull up pretty good and have pretty good strength. But once I take my 2 fingers off for the clutch, oof, puts more pressure on that thumb. It's kind of painful. You guys have heard me complain about my thumb for the last couple of rides. I'm sure you're done with it. I wish that guy would be quiet about his thumb. He doesn't need it. Doesn't need that thing. It's just kind of hanging there. Oh. Woo. Oh. This is such nice Singletrack. I'm liking this. I'm running the Michelin Enduro tire on the rear now. Feels so much better than the other one that I was running. I think I was running the Dunlop before this. I haven't even dropped the pressure on it. It's really high pressure right now, but still, it feels good enough. Look at this. I rode this same bike on the highway all the way here. It feels like I'm doing something wrong every time. I have actually considered selling this bike because at face value you kind of look at it and you're like, well, is it really worth it? I mean, I've got so many bikes. This one's really expensive for how much I ride it, but then I come out and I use it for what I intended to use it for. And it's amazing because it does everything well. It's got a big engine, good transmission. You can take it on the highway, no problem whatsoever, all the way here. And then once you get to the Singletrack, it's just a tractor. This engine is so good. Suspension is good. I mean, I feel like I'm on a real dirt bike. I don't feel like I'm on a dual sport. And that is where it's at. I was listening to a friend of Joe Rogan's on a podcast, talked to Joe Rogan, and he was talking about a lot of stuff that really resonated. And it really surprises me how much stuff that guy resonates with me, but because I start to understand people a little bit better. It really is interesting stuff. I like listening to him. His name is Duncan Trussell. But the second he goes on to a political topic, I just can't stand listening to him. he's so misinformed on that stuff. You can tell, like, by his voice and everything, that's a lot of it's emotion-driven stuff. So politically, I don't understand where he's coming from at all, but on his philosophical stuff, it's pretty interesting. And oh my God, I'm taking a video right here. This is beautiful. What's going on, guys? This is Carl at the RacerRed channel, up here above Council. It's such a nice area to ride up here. It's pretty amazing. Right now I'm riding towards No Business Lookout. I don't know if I'll make it there today, but I'm mainly here for this really good single track up in here. Kind of have a hard time holding on to the handlebars with my thumb like it is, but it is what it is. I made it. Yeah, I took the highway up here, and that's such a cool thing about this bike is you can take the highway, go as fast as you want, fairly comfortably, head off onto a trail like this one, and still pretty much feel like you're just on a regular dirt bike. Uh-oh, guys. Not good. Not good at all. I've got a flat. Why do I keep getting Alright, well, I'm limping this thing back down the trail. It's funny, this backpack usually has stuff to fix basic problems. It does have some CO2 and some sealant in there, but I took that out in my last race and I never put it back in my backpack. I'm running the same backpack. I just had a heavy-duty tube put in this bike with an 18-inch wheel. These tires are designed to, take a lot of impact before they hit the rim. And then with the heavy-duty tube I had put in here, I thought, there's just no way I'm going to have any issues. Well, This is the first ride off-road with this tire and the heavy-duty tube. This year has been kind of trying to take me out a little bit, but this could have been a lot worse. Right now I am very fortunate to be able to roll this bike down this hill and to keep rolling forward with not a huge issue so far. I mean, I'm sliding totally sideways in the rear. This thing is, there's no air in it, so that's what makes me think it's a pinch flat. It's just rubber back there. It's flopping all over. Hopefully the rim lock does its job and keeps everything somewhat on there. Yeah, like I said, I mean, it could be worse. No engine issues yet. I'm still able to keep chugging forward as long as I'm able to do that. Pretty much crisis averted. I mean, if I can get to a main road, then it's not that bad. I'm always grateful if the adventure doesn't end in complete disaster. And so far, it hasn't. I'm very surprised that I've got this flat. I will say that, considering I put this heavy-duty tube in here, and I wasn't doing anything crazy. I was just chugging along. In fact, I was waiting for my drone, so I was going even slower. Anyways, guys, I'll let you know how it goes a little bit further on up the road. See if I can keep going. I'll give you some updates as we go. For those of you who haven't ridden on a total flat, it feels like I've got about 2 feet of play in the back, side to side. The rear end keeps chugging this way, like way out here, throwing me way sideways. Especially on the off camber, you're gonna feel that rubber flip off of the rim and start throwing you totally sideways. Alright, well, I'll catch you guys on the next section, and hopefully I will be somewhat close to the main road. So this is why you definitely want to do an equipment check before you leave the house, because I really don't carry that much stuff for flats anymore, because I'm using tubeless and I'm using the bibs. I mainly use bibs now, so there's like no chance of a flat with those. However, this is the only bike that still has tubes in it. Well, besides the DRZ. The DRZ has tubes as well. But of my dirt bikes, this is the only one that really has a tube. Even if it was tubeless and I had a total flat like this, I could still ride around totally fine. In fact, I might even be... I would have made the decision to turn back anyways, because I definitely couldn't or wouldn't want to ride it on the road with a flat, even with tubeless. But still, like, if you have a flat with tubeless, you can ride this stuff super easy. There's not a whole lot of difference. You know, in this situation, you could really jack up your rim, but just try not to. I mean, I have no other choice. I have to ride out. It's also, as I drop elevation, it's going to be 100 and something degrees down below. So you just have to think about survival when it comes to this stuff. There comes a point when the bike matters 0%, and it is just a tool of survival. But I am taking it super slow, just trying to preserve that rear rim. Alright guys, well, I made it to the pavement. And I'm just gonna take this to the highway and park it. I've contacted my peoples to pick me up, so should be this wheel got me to the pavement. Good enough. Catch you guys on the next adventure. This has been a string of adventures that have not gone so smoothly, but there's always next time. Peace.